Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Rocket Rabbit Commentaries commentary of Pan's Labyrinth. Um, we, rather specifically, Cloud, picked out Pan's Labyrinth because it's a very well done movie, and I believe it's tied to Guillermo del Toro, right?
Guillermo del Toro is the sole source of the lore of this story, except that it takes place in 1944 Civil War era Spain.
Yes, and because it takes place in 1944 Spain, we had to go find a subtitles track, which wasn't actually that difficult to find. But I totally forgotten that. We didn't. This movie is entirely in Spanish, so yeah, we have English subtitles for it, which is nice for us.
Well, gosh, the 2007 or whatever DVD release, all you got to do is just push the button on your remote, and then it'll put the subtitle track in for you. But things can be so complicated using alternate media.
Yeah. This is not my first time watching Pan's Labyrinth. I have seen it a couple of times before. I do remember really enjoying the fantasy elements of it, but I also remember that the big reason why this movie is regarded so highly is because of the costume design and the rather enchanting realism of its narrative. Because that sounds like a contradiction, but it really isn't. The narrative here is actually quite gripping if you're able to comprehend all the things that are going on.
Yeah, I do agree that the narrative is solid. The characters in their era appropriate costumes also supply some great grounding for having a good perspective on the story. The characters are well defined and well understood and also very well acted, albeit our English ears are not very attuned to the good acting of Spanish acting in the language, that we can still appreciate like the coldness of the captain, or Ophelia's sense of wonder, or even the doctor's determination to put things right. And of course, Mercedes,
or the magical threat of the imp,
the faun,
the fawn. Yes.
un fauno. We also are planning an intermission about halfway through the movie, so we'll let you at home know when we have begun intermission so that you also can pause your copy of the film in order to keep along, in which there will also be a second countdown. And we'll also be counting down to the opening of the movie, and my God, I cannot wait to see this. It's been a couple of years since I've seen Pan's Labyrinth all the way through.
Same here.
I've adored this movie since the first time I laid eyes on it. I always thought that it is a great, flowy movie. It is also artistically beautiful with wonderful images and on almost every frame, albeit a lot of computer-generated material, but also that contrast is not lost on the stage acting that we're going to witness.
All right, then. Are we ready, Mr. Cloud?
We're ready here at Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. Are you ready at home to press that play button on time? All right. Everybody looks like we're ready.
All right, then. 3, 2, 1, press play. And we are just starting up before the Criterion Collection logo.
Yep, the Criterion Collection logo should be the first thing that zooms into view. Brought to you by the letter C.
So, who owns Criterion at the moment, Mr. Cloud?
Man, I don't know. This movie came out 20 years ago, bro. Do you have any idea how many times properties can change at that time?
No, like more than 3.
Wild bunch.
Wild bunch.
Telecino presenta. Sorry, presenta.
Mm-hmm.
It is good
with
that
association of Cafe FX.
Coffee with the participation of the ICAA. Yeah. if you listen softly, I mean, if you listen
España.
closely, you could hear the faint sound of a lullaby. Armed men are still fighting the new fascist regime. Military posts are established to exterminate the resistance.
Yeah, 1944 Europe is a very dark time to be around, especially for this child.
And here we see right away Ophelia. That the story wants you to know right away that this child's got quite a wallop coming her way. Not that it's her fault. It's that this, unfortunately, is more collateral damage from the dark and cruel world that she's been brought into.
Soft breeze and sunshine. You notice the blood track effect was actually rewinding back into our nose, Mr. Cloud, right?
Like, hang on. Let's start this from the beginning. For 6 months, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep.
That would be a terrible way to get afflicted with amnesia.
Welcome to the real world where the sun is shining and there's no blue filter.
Even though we still have skeletons lying around.
And in true to premise story fairy tale fashion, we're having the first couple minutes of the movie voiceover narration, and thanks also to the subtitles provided for us English viewers. Once upon a time, this movie is an adult fairy tale, and we cannot stress enough the word adult in adult fairy tale, because, as we had mentioned in other commentaries, this movie was rather controversial when it came out, because a lot of parents wanted their kids to watch this thinking it was a good old fun time fantasy adventure. But oh no. This movie is bloody. This movie is violent.
Very bloody.
This movie is horrifying at times. Which is precisely the problem that people ran into, that they were having trouble getting people to understand that just by looking at the cover art. I mean, this movie came out during the days of Blockbuster, when kids can just put the movie in the cart and then mommy will look at it saying, okay, well, here we go. Then they bring it home and then they're scarred for life.
I wouldn't say it may have been during the winding end days of Blockbuster, because this is either 05 or 06, right?
This is 2006.
Yeah, so Blockbuster is on its way out at this point.
This also is well before the days of streaming. That a lot
before the days of streaming, it will be another 3 years before Netflix gets fully founded, right?
Yeah, this was also right around the time that Netflix started ramping up. That it forced ultimately the decentralization of video and media viewing, especially video games too.
It's a relic.
So she puts the eye back in the statue, and then the statue says, "Ah."
Hello, stick insect. No, it's not a stick insect. It's a mantis. Bye, mantis. Well, which is it, Mom? Do you want me to explore or not?
But what about her shoes? Walking around in this uncivilized forest. These men with guns will take us to where we belong, my child.
Although it is just a word, it has meaning behind it, Mother. Come on.
On the road again.
Can't wait to get back on the road again. Whoosh.
The stage is set.
Well, your betrothed is pregnant with a child, dude. So come on, a bit of tardiness is to be expected.
That is true. That if they did not stop the car because Ophelia's mom was feeling sick, Carmen, sorry. If Carmen didn't start feeling sick, then they wouldn't have been delayed. If Carmen did not start feeling sick, then Ophelia would not have found the eyepiece and the statue. If the captain did not make sweet, sweet love to Carmen in the first place, then none of that would have happened.
I am in control here, Carmen.
Precisely. Captain Vidal is cold. He is authoritative. He's mean. Also
I brought
downright
lots of books.
barbaric. And also a stickler for etiquette.
The whole reason he's a stickler for etiquette is due to the old fascist propaganda on how important etiquette is, right?
What, that everybody has to behave exactly the same? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of the core tenets of fascism. See, the word
Bye,
fascism
Mr. Mentis.
fascism comes from the Italian word fascio, which means knot. As in, let us all, instead of being all loose, separate, and vulnerable strands, let us bind together in one tight, contiguous knot. And be strong together.
Oh, look, it's a Soul Reaver Gate.
Do you see it? Yeah, that's the fawn. They're showing images of the fawn already, and that was in the keystone of the archway.
But I don't think we got a title drop, did we?
No, the title drop for this movie does not occur until the very end of the film.
Oh, okay.
Es un labyrinth.
Thank you, Miss Mercedes. They've not always been here. There's clearly a amount of dirt separating these stones and walls.
Well, this is how you teach history to a child, is you try to talk at the child's level.
Ooh. And here we see Ophelia being like, I did not agree to this.
Well, that Ophelia is still at that stage of life where she stands at a crossroads. One path is leading down to where her mother went, where she accepts, she receives, she compromises. She even tells herself lies like, I'm okay with this. But Ophelia is not ready to let go of the things that she's observing or the things that are factually true. Like, she's not about to call Captain Vidal father. That is not her dad. That is another dude.
Okay, this is something that I actually totally forgot. The whole reason why the captain is moving his family up here is because we're putting a long-standing supply base nearby, and it's like, so why did we bring our family this close?
Well, I mean, for one thing, keep them away from the rebels. Captain Vidal hates rebels. That rebel scum. This is the Doctor. We just call him the Doctor.
The Doctor.
See, if we were looking at a script that gave you billing for all the characters, saying these are the main characters, these are the side characters, there would be a character listed called just the Doctor.
And Mercedes is referring to her husband, right?
Her brother, I think. No,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
no,
brother.
not
My
her,
bad.
not her brother, not her brother. That's I'm thinking of a different situation that happens later in the movie. She's talking about another person, but for whom? And
Very well, very specifically, all the help staff ends up being aligned with the resistance, and it's kind of interesting that it takes Vidal until the end of the movie to figure that out.
right, because
Because
Vidal is
Ophelia accidentally sees it right now.
right because she's not blind to it like Captain Vidal is. But is it the world that's making Captain Vidal blind, or is it his personal attributes?
It's his personal attributes. He's a dumbass. Of course they're frozen. This is a wooden college in the middle of fucking España in 1944. We don't even have central heating. It's why the fireplace is going.
That's true. You're wandering around quite a bit there. It's cold at night.
That's why we have heavy blankets.
It's like, goodness, child, you ask a lot of questions.
Well, we're in an unfamiliar place, Mom. They bend. They shape themselves in the direction of whatever the fuck is happening.
Isn't it nice that two actors can just have a dialogue moment without being interrupted by having the shot change?
Yeah.
No, this is why Pan's Labyrinth is, in my opinion, one of the most important films of the last 20 years. That it helps realize movie conventions that are, in my opinion, utterly lost on modern movie making, where everything is so fast, you just want to get to the point. But here, like right before our very eyes, like this is the point. Like this is the story becoming. So let's not, do a bunch of cutaway shots and try to keep up with the Joneses with all the tropes of modern films, like, denying a chance to see just a continuous stage scene.
So, does this story come back?
This is an allegory. Ophelia's quoting the book she was reading.
Ah, okay. Except our mantis friend is back.
Do our friends ever really leave us, Mr. Gerdat?
Yes, sometimes they do. It is sad.
At this time, I'd also like to point out that Guillermo del Toro personally wrote the English subtitles for this movie because of a previous project he had where he was very disappointed by the English subtitles, that it did not do justice to the core storytelling that he intended for another film that was originally written in Spanish.
And it wasn't at the Mountains of Madness, right? Because he never actually finished that project.
No, off the top of my head, I can only think of like 2 or 3 movies by Guillermo del Toro, this being one of them, and another one being Hellboy. Which Hellboy obviously is not a Spanish film. It was intended
Wasn't
and
Del
written in
Toro
English.
tied to Pacific Rim at one point?
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he was also tied to Shape of Water.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a more recent film.
So the allegory of the story that she was saying was that sometimes the most powerful of things go ignored for too long, and in their absence they lose their meaning. Yes.
Yes, that there is something at stake by turning one's sense of imagination and wonder to the world, that not only does the wonder leave, also the ability to perceive it in the first place goes swiftly. And the far end of that extreme, again, is Captain Vidal, who wears blinders like a horse all day long. He marches with his comrades, and his decisions largely seem to be already made for him. Now here at 16, now it's 17 minutes into the movie, we're running into the part that might have shocked some people opening this up for the first time. I don't know. You didn't bring me enough booze. And that, children, is what happens to a face when you smash it with a bottle.
And that is what happens when you shoot someone twice in the chest.
This whole movie escalated in a hurry.
Very much so.
And yet he did not get a single speck of blood on his uniform. Yeah, let's see. Documents, passports, reading material, and...
Rabbits.
I am surrounded by idiots.
Your incompetence is staggering. Yes.
You should have searched them more thoroughly. Don't bother Mama. She's on drugs right now.
It's our friend the Mented.
You would think so, right?
Well, that's the silhouette that we got. Yeah, it's the Mented. Hello.
I'm gonna call bullcrap real quick. There's no way that you could so clearly see this creature in this light.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's fantasy.
Sure.
Like, yay! Magic is real.
Yay!
It's a fairy.
And now she has fingers. That'll make opening doors easier. So, how does Ophelia successfully manage to sneak out of the house, Mr. Cloud?
Right, in this old, creaky house. Well, we saw where the captain was. He's too busy polishing his watches while his goons come and tell him whenever somebody farts in the woods. And also, let me say too, in on the subject of history, that yes, this is how fascist regimes typically fall: is people working behind the scenes, unbeknownst to the people in power. That if you know where the holes are, you can travel through them. If you know where the Underground Railroad is, you too can march north to freedom.
So, I'm relatively certain that France had an escape from fascism tramway, but I don't remember if Spain did.
I would imagine that resistance against fascism had become like one of the number one things on the minds of Europeans during this time. The 1944, of course, this is right when the United States, Britain, and the Allied forces of World War II invaded Normandy Beach in order to start pushing back the Nazis. Thankfully, Pan's Labyrinth does not go outside of the world of Civil War era Spain. That the Spaniards, they had their own problems. Actually, because of that, Spain was one of the few countries that was not really readily involved in World War II, even though they called it a world war.
Hello, Fawn.
And here, the creation of the character of the faun. In English, we refer to this character as Pan. In Spanish, because the literal translation of the movie's title is The Labyrinth of the Faun, he is just the faun.
Right. Also, Ophelia in English has a PH in it instead of an F.
Yeah. It's because in actually a lot of the Latin languages that PH doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't make that like exceptional consonant sound that we know in English. And wearing the faun outfit is Doug Jones, as voiced by another character, and I found it hilarious to see behind the scenes of the faun, to hear Doug Jones saying in his totally Englishy and accented way of speaking the language himself in order to get the lip movements and voice timings on time, also to act alongside Ophelia. It's quite funny.
And one of those just happens to be shaped like Soul Reaver.
Is this conversation really happening? Or is this just a dream?
It's both, actually.
Well, as we find out towards the end of the movie, that they might as well have been the same thing.
The Book of Crossroads.
Huh. Oh,
How much Baron's chat is going to be in that, Mr. Cloud?
She can feel the weight of the context.
Bye, Fawn. Well, you aren't alone yet.
You must preserve that which makes you special. And in doing so, you will realize your destiny. Good morning, yes. España. ¿Cómo estás?
In the 40s, when the most common razor was, a straight razor that was effectively a switchblade. Ugh.
To the book, to the letter, to the teeth, to the skin. Really, a machine incarnated. It's all right, Mr. Gerdat. They're not talking about us. We're not the rabbits they're gonna eat. We are the free rabbits.
Well, I certainly hope not, because that would imply fourth wall breaking, and Have you ever had rabbit stew, Mr. Cloud?
No, I've probably never had rabbits. Well, rabbits would fall under the category of game meat, as in you probably shouldn't have game meat unless you're getting it from somebody who actually knows game meat. That's how you get parasites.
It's fucking amazing how far our technology advanced in 60 years, Mr. Cloud.
Oh, right, like the part that we don't take baths with water that had to be boiled first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that we've advanced to the hospitality amenities as well as home features like plumbing has become not only common but also expected and totally repeatable.
How the hell did you make that, Miss Carmen?
Well, I mean, she's got to have something to do. It's basically her job right now is to just tend to the baby that she's in gestation with.
Mm-hmm.
And also very close to the end of the pregnancy, by the way.
Yeah. Really? You hid the book behind the radiator?
Because they're not paying attention. My name is Harry Potter. Hello, Harry Potter. My name is Tom Riddle. Arbor means tree. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she can read that because it's written in Spanish. Cool.
Yeah, but what happened to those oh so useful subtitles? Like, now I'm lost.
Oh, look, she does have a crescent moon birthmark.
Right, but did the fawn tell her something new, or did the fawn simply remind her of something she already knew but forgot?
It's both. I don't know. The white overdress is a bit much. What do you think, Mr. Cloud?
It is a bit much. It's too much. You see, this is just a taste of the assimilation that Ophelia spends the rest of the film evading.
Plus the hair tie. The hair tie is too large.
It's a bow.
Yes, the hair bow is too large.
No, now all she has to learn is to shake hands with the correct hand, and then she'll be a proper lady. Be wary of fawns.
Behold, supplies.
Bread.
Ooh, olives.
It's real. It's not crap, it's real. I've been smoking crap for so long that even Mercedes thinks that my mind is gone.
Let me think. Was Weird Al making any big singles at this point?
Yes.
I mean
this is like 2 years before White and Nerdy.
Ooh. Okay. because because I think he does. I just had it on the tip of my fucking tongue. Yeah, he did Saga Begins in 2001.
Long, long time ago, in a galaxy far away, I met this boy. Oh, there she goes
You
again.
know, these weeds are extremely prosperous in this part of the woods, Mr. Cloud.
Probably because no one's tending to these weeds.
I wouldn't call this trunk twisted. Split, sure, but not twisted.
Oh, I forgot about the toad. That's right. Yeah, let's see what were we just talking about. You ruined your shoes. Now everybody's gonna know you've been up to no good.
Well, she saved her dress at least.
Or so she thinks. So on the
Hey, she tried to save the dress, okay?
she did. But fate had another plan in store. Like the wind. So on the subject of reception and acceptance, that fairy tales really push that whole, suspense of disbelief thing that we come to realize is an active process of enjoying films and stories. Here, Pan's Labyrinth takes it to to an appreciable level of we're just receiving for the first time a lot of this information, but it makes sense in the flow and execution of the story. That we don't know what the 3 tasks are that Ophelia has to attend to. She's finding them out at the same time that we are.
Could you have done the crawl under the tree, Mr. Cloud?
No, because I am adult-sized.
Antibiotics.
Captain, we're rich.
Okay, but Vidal, where are they watching us from? Because they kind of have to be in the tree line, don't they?
We're gonna find out. Con buena suerte.
So the lottery ticket is bunk, right?
No, it's a real lottery ticket. That's why didn't they come back for it? Don't you want to win the Powerball?
But it's the 40s, Mr. Cloud. The Powerball is what, $20?
To participate. I mean, if all 10 of these dudes put $2 together, they might afford a winning ticket.
Like, I don't think that as a kid I could have done this crawl. The trilobites here would get to me, and I'd be like, nope, nah, I'm out.
Right. Contrast between, like, okay. Well, here's another one for you. Why did they show the scene with Captain Vidal chasing those people, and then the scene of Ophelia in what's the word? Not encounter. Facing the toad. Yes, this we're talking about courage. She's still got the stones. Now, Captain Vidal lets slip that he's afraid of the rebels. Ophelia is showing that she's not afraid of the toad. Except nobody would believe that she faced it.
Very smart, Miss Ophelia.
Yep. The trick worked. The toad thought that she fed him bugs. Nope. Heh, gross.
Very gross.
Right, you can let the gas out. The turkey's done.
Thankfully, she didn't have to go swimming through the organs.
Yeah, that was convenient. Like, oh, all I have to do is just pick it up. Oh boy, what a day!
Yeah, because she spent like 2 or 3 hours in there. Yeek.
No, while other men are wasting their time picking up lottery tickets off the ground and screaming into the wind, Ophelia is getting stuff done. Unfortunately, her dress got ruined in the process.
Yeah.
In the cold November rain.
Thankfully, the rain is actually going to clean up a good portion of her mess, just not the stuff on her clothes or her shoes.
It's a relief. Now we're back in Black and Blue Land. We'll find numerous visits to Black and Blue Land throughout this film.
Which is weird, because I thought that was more of a 2002 thing, with X-Men and all.
And at least not to the absurd extreme that filmmaking successors to this movie had elaborated on. Where basically everything is... Oh, okay, so let me be clear. From the very beginning, film cameras have used filters in order to set colors, because colors influence immediate impressions upon the eyes of the person viewing. What I find is unfortunate is that people are just in the habit of just doing it automatically, where, some of my favorite filmmakers will just, get rid of the fucking camera filter and just show things as they are. My friends, we are now richer and more powerful than ever.
Really, Father Churchman. Ha 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 ha. So, is Vidal actually German?
No, he's not. No, he's not German. He's probably He's probably not even 100% Spanish.
Because that's one of the bigger that's one of the smaller points of the movie is that it's early it's like early 1944. It's at the very latest April of 44, right?
Yeah, it looks like this story's taking place in like the spring.
Because well, at that time, a majority of the German front was actually getting pushed pretty far back.
Right, but Mr. Gray, you have to understand that the Germans wanted nothing to do with Spain. Spain wanted nothing to do with the Germans. So when a civil war
Vidal
happens,
Italian then?
No. The Italians are one of the Axis powers. What I'm saying is that Spain's borders are a line between involvement and non-involvement. The Allies just give Spain a miss. That the civil war happening also influenced both parties not to take allegiance in any side of the war. That's why they were largely non-combatants in World War II.
All right. Kind of weird that he's so decorated then.
You know, everybody stand up. Should always stand when somebody's leaving the table.
Which is weird, man.
And here's another story that we're only just getting. The story of Vidal's father.
That hour and minute of his death.
Well, Captain? He just denies it outright.
Yep. Oh. Mm.
Because she knows that her mother's not totally 100% happy living with Captain Vidal now.
Right. I can do that because I'm a mented.
Oh boy, we got all kinds of games set up for you. There's going to be some Chuck E. Cheese pizza, some Hawaiian punch by the dipping. You want to pin the tail on the donkey or dive into the ball pit? You can do that, little girl.
But this was only the first task, Mr. Cloud. And I think this is the first time we're seeing this particular effigy, right?
Now we are going to the second task, the skee ball.
I'm not actually all that good at skee ball.
I love skee ball.
Skee ball is fun to play. I'm just not good at it.
And here the fawn has the high score.
Oh, look, our mantis can transform in flight.
Now, didn't somebody just tell me that fawns are not totally trustworthy?
This is the scene where the fawn actually lays on a lot of the insidious factor.
Oh, you mean that they're eating each other?
Not necessarily that they're eating each other, but he is much more threatening in this scene than he was in his first one.
Well, I mean, the first time these two met, the fawn made more of a subtle appearance. Now, in this instance, the fawn is already assuming that they're buddy buddies, so he could just, stroll right over like they've known each other for years.
The horns, honestly.
That's a post-Christian thing, Mr. Gerdat.
I know. But they do bend backwards, which is a weird. No. Rams actually have their horns bend backwards too.
Oh yeah. Oh, so there
You
is
know, that
more
is
to
a
this
lot more
place.
people than were at the dinner party.
Well, because those were the aristocrats. These are the peasants.
Mm-hmm. In a united Spain. Mm,
A chicken in every pot and a cap in every ass.
oh,
That's an image of an ovum and ovaries,
yeah.
and it's very red. It's
And she's
red.
bleeding out.
It's red. Now, don't be scared. You don't know what's on the other side of that door. Except you did. I am too cool. Too fool.
Do you have to keep spouting the propaganda, sir?
Well, this is some real shit going on. Just men repeating slogans over and over again. 80,000 lies makes one truth. And also, let's not forget
Well,
that the
she's gonna need like 2 heavier blankets.
Right. That this is just a process to get this baby born. Vidal does not care about Ophelia's mom. He just cares about the baby.
Carmen.
Carmen, sorry. See, even I can't. It's as though the movie did it on purpose. I mean, they only mention her name like once or twice.
Twice. At least twice so far.
And also on the subject of storytelling and characters, that Carmen is largely just a foil for Ophelia. She is in herself not really as strong of a character.
No Mercedes.
Now, on the subject of stronger characters, Mercedes actually is one of my favorite characters in this movie.
She does a lot of little things, honestly.
You know, like a good old comfortable rub on the shoulder.
And lullaby. Is it Jirachi's lullaby, Mr. Cloud?
Where, oh, where have you gone, my love? Where, oh, where can you be? It's been so long since the moon has gone. Oh, what a wreck you made me. Lullabies to Paralyze. Queens of the Stone Age.
Behold, compartment of rocks.
This is how the West was won, baby. Secret compartments, passwords, men passing messages around in code. The Enigma machine. Oh, sorry, that was Germany.
Yeah.
And they lost the war. So, is the darkness too much for you, Mr. Gerdat?
No, but it's close, man. I feel like we're watching Les Miserables again because, God, dude, Les Miserables was absolutely fucking terrible with its lighting.
Right? I mean, you see the most
This is
important
slightly better
parts.
than that.
Okay, now this shot you could very clearly tell. This is a night filter, and they're filming this scene during the day.
Yeah, because she has some pretty heavy shadows on her eyes. So
Yeah, there's no way. The Moonlight is not going to do that. This must be fantasy.
Fawn, you're not supposed to end up in the house.
Santa came early.
Well, we didn't get told. We didn't get told what the task is yet.
That is true. She wanted to see what comes next. Well, okay, so she asked the book what comes next. So the book says, okay, well, I mean, in the chronological queue of things, we're just on time for your mother to almost have a miscarriage. Muy peligroso.
This is not human.
Well, neither was the toad, so what's your point? I love the allegory of the feast.
Mm-hmm.
It's full of delicious foods, hot roast, cool grape drinks, but you can't touch anything on the table. And remember, Ophelia got sent to bed without supper.
Yeah. All right, we are starting to set up for our intermission, folks.
Right. Start. Oh, is it? Yeah, we're about a minute away from the intermission. Yeah, it's right at the end of this scene with the rebels. And yes, Mercedes has been smuggling supplies from the camp to the rebels,
including mail.
You can learn a lot of Spanish curse words by listening closely.
North of France.
Yep, they're talking about the Normandy invasion.
Mm-hmm. Of course it's really bad. You're actively bleeding out of it.
Once the wound goes black, you have to lose the leg.
Mm-hmm. Amputation.
And get him nice and drunk.
It's a saw, okay?
Right, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this for you. This is gonna fucking suck for a second. Okay, and slice. And that's where we're going to stop the film for a second. The leg is now off, ladies and gentlemen, and at this point, Rocker Rabbit Commentaries invites all to take a pause for a bit from this not terribly lengthy movie, but we've been watching for about an hour now, so let's all take a little break so that we can return afresh.
We're returning from our intermission.
Yep, intermission's over. What's the function of intermission? Gives you a chance to do stuff. Make a phone call. Take a smoke break. Go to the concession stand. Use the bathroom. Wash your hands. Now, we're returning to immediately after the amputation scene with the doctor being at the rebel camp. Now we're back in Ophelia's room where she is preparing to take on the second task just entrusted to her by the Fawn in person. That now the Fawn just is at liberty to just follow Ophelia wherever she goes, except that these two characters only appear to be talking to each other when they're both by themselves.
Right.
Now we're going to see, with all the eggs in the scramble, what with the rebels and secret allegiances and some badass butchers ready to pop a cap in your ass, we're going to see where this story is going to take us.
All right. I am ready.
I am ready too. Is everybody ready to resume the second half of Pan's Labyrinth? All right. It looks like we're all ready. Here we go.
3, 2, 1, press play. And so we see Ophelia grabbing her book after she puts on a nice warm overcoat.
Well, she better have something clean to wear now.
Now, before we started out, I actually was referring to this character as Gluttony, but I think he's actually supposed to be Envy.
That this character who's called the Pale Man, although that's a term dubbed by fans of this film to call him the Pale Man, is based on an original design character by Guillermo del Toro. However, you could draw speculation and conclusions all day long and conjecture as to where did Guillermo del Toro get his idea from. You have to complete your task before the final grain of sand slips through the hourglass.
And before the other mother tracks you down with her spider limbs.
Oh, this mother.
And poof.
Turn the glass, and here we go.
You gotta be quicker than that, Ophelia. You're already apparently half out of time.
Well, maybe she just wanted to be sure that the sands were actually falling. You're late for dinner.
A sugared roast, lots of fresh fruits, and coffee,
and this motherfucker,
and jelly,
he's got fat rolls.
And eyeballs.
So that doesn't look very appetizing. You look drunk. This is how a horror video game would set up a character. Is just, let the player get comfortable in the scene. Like, oh, he's not going to come to life. He's not going to start chasing you or nothing. But then there's numerous suggestions that that's exactly what he's going to do. As soon as you do the thing, you get the Resident Evil key. You're ready to open the next room. But then you get ambushed.
Yes, the gold key goes into the gold lock, Ophelia. Pattern recognition.
I'm a smart. Only one of the locks will fit the key. Time is running out. Tee hee hee. What's in the box? The dagger.
I didn't remember that she screwed up this puzzle. Huh. I mean, I did remember that. I did remember that she succumbs to envy here, but I didn't remember that she screwed up this puzzle.
No, she didn't screw up the puzzle. She got the thing. It's just, the fairies are telling her
But she
no.
didn't use the gold key on the gold lock. She used it on the wood lock.
But she still got a thing out of it. Like, no, don't. Aw, you blew it. Now, this freaky motherfucker, also costumed by Doug Jones, a veteran of wearing over-the-top full-body costumes that take literally all day to put on.
But it was Carrie that was wearing the Prince of Darkness suit in Legend. So, I forgot that she actually went for a second one too. Damn.
Well, I mean, it's already over.
Yeah.
Like, they try pulling the grape out of her hand. You might want to look behind you. It looks like a man, but it's not. No, not the fairies. He's going for seconds. He's hungry for blood and flesh. He can see you. It's got to be the squealing sound effects. You spent too much time eating grapes. Now you're the grape. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is SpongeBob SquarePants and 10 is the most horrifying thing you've ever seen, how does the Pale Man rank?
6.
Yeah, he's pretty freaky.
You forget, dude. I actually watched Aliens 1 as a kid. I wasn't able to make it through John Carpenter's A Thing, but I did make it through Aliens 1.
Fancy that. She actually figured out to use the chalk in order... Use the chalk, Rudy! Use the chalk!
Do you remember Chalk Zone?
Yes.
I remember having a decent enough time with Chalk Zone.
It's a really stupid show, man. Like,
it is.
There's no peril, there's no suspense. It's just, whoa, whoopee, look at all this. Honestly, after an encounter like that, the cold, hard reality of warring parties actually comes a bit sobering and relieving.
Not with the war the way it's going. So I'm not entirely sure why the doctor's faith is being pressed here, because he was there for the news about how the Allies were just straight up winning World War II from this point.
No, see, if only Hitler was their problem. No, Captain Vidal is their problem. And the guy who would take Captain Vidal's place, as the doctor was just saying, is you take out the captain, someone else is going to come in and do his job anyway.
You feel like a coward, but you're our inside mole. You're doing very risky shit for us.
Well, that's what we're going to find out. Oh boy, nobody's gonna believe what's been going on with that little girl. While it still has time to shave.
Well, it's very important specifically for him to maintain a, an air and presence of cleanliness.
And also, to be
I'm
honest, I'm
not sure
not.
what he was pissed off about, Mr.
Yeah,
Todd.
what was he looking at? I know, right? Like, is it was that an English thing, or was that us just genuinely not knowing what was the significance of that scene? Maybe one of the few flawed scenes in the movie, but is that our fault or is that the movie's fault?
Hello, little mandrake.
I'm a little mandrake taking a bath. This is arithmetic. This is math. Isn't this better than running away from monsters and feeling guilty for eating a grape?
Mm, I'm not entirely sure it was guilt. There was guilt that she feels over eating the grape.
Oh, yeah.
Overeating the grape.
She's got to feed it blood.
Two.
Is it science? Science, yes. Let us praise science.
Mm. Well, Vidal, you just unknowingly admitted to Ophelia that you don't care about Carmen, and that's a problem because Ophelia doesn't care about you.
I guess the right people have the right amount of care for each other.
Also, explosions.
Yeah, but what are they blowing up? Oh, yeah, that's
Given the time
right.
period, it's probably mortar shells, isn't it?
They're wondering the very same things. Maybe that's the point.
Can you bring me a Nintendo Switch?
Now, if it makes you feel better, you can talk to baby in the womb. Just let it be known that that baby probably cannot understand a word that you're saying.
It's a good thing that Carmen was unconscious for all of that. Oh, we derailed a train.
Oh, that was a big wreckage. The supply train has just been destroyed. Storm's coming.
Oh, look, more explosions.
Isn't this just the scene that we've been waiting for? It's actual war breaking out.
And now he realizes that Mercedes has lied to him.
Because the lock was not broken.
Right.
If the lock was broken, he wouldn't have been able to relatch it, which means that somebody had the key.
Yeah. You see, the other big thing that they should have brought for a raid on the supply den, hammer and chisel.
Huh. Don't break the watch yet, Captain.
Especially because you're running out of ammo.
And he's running out of dudes. And this actually would be really close to what it would be like fighting in the woods in Germany, being on the Allied forces. Very appropriate for World War II scene setting.
So we've taken down this guerrilla force.
Just make sure they're dead.
Hey, we were told that they had grenades, yet they didn't use them against us. What was with that?
Maybe they used them all.
And this is Pedro, right?
No, it's just some dude. No, I don't want you to do it. No, I don't want you to do it. Stop it. Ow. See, not everybody likes just putting bullets in people. We must take him in for
But here's the thing: Vidal isn't back yet. So how the hell did the rumor of them successfully capturing one get back to the farm already?
Things happen fast. I mean, they weren't that far from the camp.
True. And so that is Pedro, right?
No, it's not. It's not
Okay.
Pedro. We're going to find out later that was not Pedro.
Okay.
Because, as every good storyteller should, they should not introduce character attributes that finally don't matter. So we're going to find out the character attribute that helps us distinguish that character from others. Because a lot of these characters, unfortunately, do not have names. Like, Frenchie is the name of a character. Frenchie is the name that the doctor gave the guy who he cut the leg off of.
Yep.
But if you're not called Frenchie, then we might not even know what to call you.
You should still take it.
Go fish.
Oh, it was the dude that had trouble reading. Okay.
Pedro did not have a stutter.
Right.
This guy did. I mean, it's as though Guillermo del Toro had anticipated that his English audience might have trouble recognizing right away that it's not the same person as Mercedes' brother. That they had to use that they had to put in the story other things that made it like just foolproof. Like, no, that's definitely not Pedro. The ABCs of torture.
Hammer cutting and stabbies.
So listen, we can end this right here, right now. This is just cruel.
Aren't they at least going to dry him off first?
No. They'll be polishing the brass on the Titanic, man. One, uno, dos. Yeah, it sounded like a stutter. Oh, and another thing, be nice to the delivery guy. It's not his fault he can't read.
I accidentally fed two of your fairy, have fed two of your fairies to envy.
But the little fairy has to explain it to him first. No podés regresar.
I mean, that's what happens to all stories, Fawn.
Well, we're talking about eternal life. Whoop, bum, 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 bum. Washing hands, my hands got dirty. Gotta wash 'em in the rain so I can do more stuff.
So we specifically broke his hands, or at least one hand.
What, you get caught cheating at the at the roulette table? No, I mean we already knew you can't say much. I mean you could barely finish sentences.
I'm a doctor. I'm not allowed to do that.
Is not life and death always at his fingertips?
You see, this is actually a really bad way for him to jump to this conclusion.
Or maybe he just so happens to be right.
He does so happen to be right here, but still, this is a bad way for him to jump to this conclusion.
Well, I mean, you gotta think too. Like how many people are supplying antibiotics? It's not like in modern America where we're spoiled to having medicines in drugstores and pharmaceuticals and available all over the place. Where also you have competitors who are making the same stuff but putting it in different containers. So here, actually, you could. It's easy to swallow that. Okay, they caught the doctor giving antibiotics to both parties because the vials are the same. Because they probably came from the same source. Because when you really look at it, doctoring is like a very high end form of retail. They're consuming products, they're helping clients, but they don't make the stuff themselves. They use products that are sold by other people who make it. Now, Vidal is starting to put away the gotta be nice around kids type thing. Dr. Ferrero.
And so Vidal has discovered the mandrake.
A very foul smelling mandrake, by the way.
It's a mandrake.
Coño is a very bad word.
Unfortunately for the both of you, it actually was working. So there. But they can be, damn it.
You're getting older. Someday, child, you too will have to accept that life sucks. Bum 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 bum. Life's gonna suck when you grow up. When you grow up. When you grow up. Life's gonna suck when you grow up. It sucks pretty bad right now. Coincidence?
Not a coincidence. Because you're a monster and I hate you. Although, To be perfectly honest, we don't actually see all that much of a monstrous side from Vidal for most of the movie. Yeah, he's a fascist, but like that's pretty much his only actual crime.
How about murder in the first degree? Which he has committed more than once, by the way.
Yes, he has committed murder in the first degree multiple times, but I think this is the only murder that we actually. Well, no. We see him kill the farmer and his kid. Okay.
No, he doesn't want to shoot this one in the head to make sure he's dead. I killed the doctor. Get the troop paramedic.
Yeah, the guy that has less access to medical supplies.
Well, he's sharp, saying like, "Well, fuck, I just killed the one guy from whom I needed help." Oh, that's a lot of blood.
Yes.
Because remember, to this very day, people do still die giving birth to children.
Yes.
Hell, even in the United States
today.
that happens.
It's rarer these days than it was.
In the U.S. Honestly, this feels like a throwback to my assertion that Americans need not worry about contracting Ebola because the services are here in the United States. But outside the United States, good luck.
Kind of depends on what part of the world you're in. I mean,
Precisely.
Most of the European Union actually has better has better infant mortality rates than we do. Lightning crashes, a new mother dies. So, do we think that this is karmic punishment for Carmen killing the Mandrake?
I mean, punishment, yeah, in a way you're right, because punishment implies, like, don't do the thing that incurred the punishment. She threw the Mandrake root in the fire.
Yes. Mind you, if she had not done it, Vidal would have.
Right.
I forget, do we actually get, do we actually get our baby's name?
Not sure. Actually, they didn't even. Vidal only insisted that he knew that it was a boy because this story also takes place before ultrasound.
That and he's a bit of a misogynist.
Yeah, it's one of many attributes that make him who he is. He's also a drinker. I like it when women drink with me. Now, is there anyone whom Captain Vidal is not going to become suspicious of?
No, we're officially at the point of the movie where all of his safeguards are falling away.
So if you were paying close attention, Mercedes said good night twice. The first time she said buenas noches, and then the second time she said hasta mañana. And remember that this is the director writing the subtitles. That she technically said two different things, but they effectively mean the same thing in English.
Right.
And to support just the broader context of this whole movie, which is a product that had to be sold in movie theaters, Americans were the number one target consumer for this movie.
Which is kind of weird given that it's a foreign language film.
Well, I think it's just something to expect. I mean, this. I mean, hence we're watching it to this very day. This movie is a classic. I mean, hell, The Godfather is riddled with English subtitles during the Italian scenes.
And, ow, they actually make it out. Huh, weird.
Well, now that Carmen is dead, now there's not much holding Ophelia here.
Well, there was Mercedes.
Except maybe her fear.
And her brother. Hi, Vidal.
And a whole gang of dudes just waiting to surprise us.
Or is this Serrano?
No, that's Vidal.
Okay.
Of course he's there. He's the first dude on the scene every time.
And for the record, Vidal, Ophelia was never laughing at you.
Is that all you care about? Just what other people think? And we're back in the storeroom. Mercedes is in the same place where Mr. Stutterer was before he got a wallop all up beside the head.
Yeah, but you've not had the best luck with women, Mr. Vidal.
Ain't that something?
Well, misogyny, not necessarily pride.
But it's your weak points we're interested in. Let me introduce you to my friends.
At first, we will gut you like a stuck fucking pig. Then we'll disable your shoulder.
Oh, you
and
fucked with the wrong
too.
bitch. The bodies in this movie are just made of stuffing. And also, let's be clear that the term motherfucker is an Americanism.
Yeah.
She literally called him son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm. That's Serrano, right?
Yeah. His right-hand man.
That's actually a much cleaner cut than it should be.
And also very, very telling that now he has a permanent grin on the left side of his cheek. Let's put a smile on that face.
No, we're never going to do The Dark Knight.
The
It's
Dark
too
Knight only
goddamn
came
long.
out 2 years later.
And it's Heath Ledger's last performance, right?
Yeah. Well, his last full-length performance. Because they had him in, like, Mr. McGillicuddy's Wonder Emporium or whatever. But there were portions of that film that were not finished because he was supposed to be in the portions of the film that they had to get out of the film because he couldn't do it anymore. Now, how did she manage to get that knife so clean so quickly?
She's got thick robes on, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, it's got to be stained.
And so the resistance has come. Woohoo!
And also that weird kind of swaying effect when bullets hitting bodies kind of reminds you how in modern films, like, if you get shot with a pistol, you're not going to get blown back like 50 feet. Like, it's a small object. What it's doing is it's penetrating organs in order to shut down your vital life signs.
Right. Now, do they manage to salvage the horses from this operation, Mr. Cloud?
Don't hurt the horses. In the movie, yes, the movie will assure you at the very end that no humans or horses were harmed during the making of this film. We can't say the same thing about dogs because there were no dogs on screen.
Yeah. Hey, the fairy has returned.
Just when I thought I was about to give up.
Hey, Fawn, you can come in and out of the house at will. Can you take me out?
Why can't the fawn just be certain with a conviction? Like, what made him change his mind?
Well, very specifically, Ophelia has no other guardians left. Like, and she is fully alone at the moment.
Well, you got a solid point there. I told you can't ask questions now. Use the chalk, Rudy.
You know, there were a lot of really interesting kid shows on Toon Disney around that time.
Right? Oh my God! Just the words Toon Disney takes me back.
I'm pretty sure both Fillmore and Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go were on Toon Disney around then, right?
Not that I would know. I'd sooner be watching. Actually, no. Around that time, I would not have been watching like House, Nip Tuck, Grey's Anatomy, Scrubs.
I remember enjoying Scrubs, but not that much.
And I'm no Superman, ooh, and I'm no Superman. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you suture a wound that badly needs stitches.
Unfortunately, you would have to do it yourself in this case, and that would be fucking terrifying. And terrible.
Doctor, heal thyself. Where's the doctor? Oh, yeah, that's right.
We killed him, and the true paramedic is probably out for the night, out for the day.
Reap what you sow. Cut what you sow. Where's my baby brother? Papa's taking good care of him while he's having a drink. Oh, kids, they have the greatest knack for hiding in the best places.
You knew that was going to happen, Vidal. Come on.
But did he really, though?
Yes.
No, let's try it again. Surely it will work this time. I just got to remember to tilt my head to the right while I'm knocking one back. Tell me, James, do you always sleep with a gun under your pillow?
Not under my pillow.
Looks like Ophelia is not the only one who may be seeing or hearing things.
Ophelia has like 50 points in passive stealth for somehow.
She was crawling into the corner the entire time, grinding up her skills.
It's why I never actually liked those style of leveling systems.
Well, you get extra points if you can take out your opponent without being caught.
Okay, you're just gonna overdose him at that point, Ophelia.
I think it was Ezio who got the ability to poison people by like just poking them, where it's like, oh, I got a mosquito bite, and then within 15 seconds they're flailing their arms about in complete disorientation as their system shut down. $20 against $50. That means
we're on the losing side. Ha ha ha
ha. On the subject of losing things, I'm gonna take your son. Now, please, give me a second to change my shirt. Okay, now he took the poison to drink.
And it's not a poison, Mr. Clown. It's a sleep aid.
Well, I mean, it's... He got roofied.
Yeah, he got roofied.
Great use of camera effects in order to imply disorientation on the part of the depicted character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's drunk and he's got a gun. Oh boy.
Oh look, they're doing the raid. They're doing the raid on the compound now.
Right, like what terrific timing. Where right now, the last thing that Captain Vidal wants to do is to stave off an attack on the camp.
Yes, she went into the labyrinth through the wall.
Aha. With a door. And then she said Beetlejuice 3 times.
Do you remember the Beetlejuice animated show?
Kind of. I remember
its opening being really kick-ass, but I don't remember anything about the show itself.
I remember one image that comes to mind is of the animated Beetlejuice, like, grinning, but, like, there's a word spelled out in his nasty teeth.
Okay.
Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul.
Mr. Grinch, I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
You're in the labyrinth, Mr. Grinch.
The bushes are changing.
Your son's around here somewhere. You'll have to look a little harder, Mr. Grinch.
Mr. Grinch.
Now, in order to create that effect where, like, the fawn is, like, all twisted and bendy, they did actually have to edit out Doug Jones's legs so that his legs are, like, perfectly standing up, but the costume legs are bent forward.
Yes, and then you demanded to hurt someone close to me.
Right? Like, that wasn't part of the original plan.
He is my brother.
All right, let's see once and for all. What do other people see? They see Ophelia talking to nobody, but is it because that was just any person happening on this conversation, or because it was Vidal?
Any person. Both of these are both of these are happening, Mr. Cloud.
Now, what's that cardinal rule of films? Don't hurt children.
It's why we don't get to see the gunshot above her waist.
That's why we don't get to see Jack Ryan purging the little sisters in BioShock. I think this is about where we came in.
Yeah. Also, come on. Hi, Mercedes.
Oh, hey guys. Well, at least they know.
So,
not
from Vidal's perspective, this all happens really fast. Like over the course of about a week, he just completely loses his position.
Oh yeah, he lost everything. But such is the way of war. A lot can happen in a short period of time. It's time.
Because you are a monster.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to sew that one up there, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, that's not where you're supposed to kill someone if you actually want to. That's not where you're supposed to shoot someone if you actually want them dead. But
no, that whole thing about Vidal crushing the watch in his pocket, because we don't even know really if that thing about General Vidal, his father, is true. That the father
supposedly it wasn't because Captain Vidal said he didn't own a watch. So
right, or was he telling a lie? See, a lot of questions that this movie refuses to answer, which is part of the beauty of it.
Because they aren't relevant.
No, they are. Because that's the point, is that life is intrinsically blended with mystery, at which we wonder. That there are always going to be some parts of life that are not explained.
There we go. Now the blood is dropping on the effigy.
So that it seems that all that the ritual demanded was just the blood of someone of the bloodline, not necessarily Ophelia's own.
Well, the thing is, Fawn said that it needed to be blood of the innocent, and well, Ophelia was willing to sacrifice herself in order to protect her brother, which supposedly purges her of the sin of envy. So,
Right, like fully redeemed from she went from just this despicable little urchin stealing grapes off of other people's tables. Now we're rewarding her with fancy shoes and the glorious kingdom.
hey, Odin. Hi, dead mom.
Oh yeah, that's right. Her mom's here too. And the fawn's here.
And all three of the fairies made it back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Her father was a tailor, and then she's got fancy clothes on now. It's everything I could have ever
And
hoped
so we
for.
end on Mercedes singing the lullaby.
And then Ophelia dies.
And the moral of this story is realism can happen in your fairy tales too, goddammit.
Everything you've heard is true.
So, are we going to do Pinocchio next?
Pinocchio. Did they ever make a live action remake of that story?
It's not a live action remake, but I'm pretty sure Del Toro is tied to the new Pinocchio movie, and I've seen clips of it.
That's right.
Specifically, blood lilacs. And that was Pan's Labyrinth.
And
yes,
finally, the title
of the
drop.
Fawn. I enjoy this movie. I do. I kind of wish I had it a bit louder so I could actually listen to the dialogue instead of just having to read it the whole time. But I will say that it has some rather slow parts in it, like although the intro is very nice in establishing everything, it's kind of weird that we spend about the first 10 minutes bereft of the fantasy elements.
No,
From there,
no,
it's
it
actually
gets
paced
fantastic.
really well.
Actually, the fantasy is only it is a very close second place to the realism, which remember the first shot of the movie was of Ophelia on the ground dying, like we see in the final scene.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think of this movie, Mr. Cloud?
Oh, that it aged like fine wine, man. That I still thoroughly enjoy watching this movie all the way through. That's why I used to make it an event just to share this movie with friends, especially if they haven't seen it before.
I wouldn't say it's aged like final wine. It is definitely very good, certainly, and your note of the camera effects are actually are quite astounding as well. However, when I think of movies that have aged like fine wine, the one that always comes to mind is the Rankin Bass Hobbit movie, and this is not nearly as good as that. I'm sorry. It's a tad long in the tooth. The conflict is a bit confusing to me because I know it's established that we're specifically in the Spanish Civil War, but at the same point, I have difficulty believing that the Spanish Civil War takes place at the same time that World War II does. because
Well, you don't have to believe it. You just have to accept that it's true, because this is fact.
I don't know, man. Well, those two conflicts seem to be ages apart from in my mind. So
Well, I mean, when I think of World War II, I think of Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers. That there's a whole body of media and faces and stories and personalities versus. Well, I too also struggle to, really dive in and absorb the lore of, the core context of Pan's Labyrinth, because among films and stories that I've heard, I know almost nothing about the Spanish Civil War. But that it did happen.
So, if you're looking for more realism in your fantasy movies, this is a good place to start. I do kind of wish that we had managed to find an English version of it, simply so it would have been easier for us to watch. At the same point, at the same point, the Spanish version of it is probably better acted, but I can't actually hear them acting, so bleh.
Like, I mean, that's kind of like the difference between watching an anime with the Japanese voices or the English dub. And honestly, most of the time, I would vie just to listen to the Japanese voices with English subtitles, please. Even if those subtitles are written by people who do not necessarily have any certification, learning, or training in speaking Japanese. They just really like anime, and they got somewhat good at writing the subtitles.
But yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. What else do we have to talk about, Mr. Cloud?
This film got Oscar nods when it came out. I don't think it won anything though, unless it was like I'm pretty sure this film was nominated for Best Foreign Film because in the eyes of the Oscar Council.
I'm relatively certain that Del Toro won something for either a design or costuming off of this.
That whether I mean look at freaking Reservoir Dogs by Quentin Tarantino. I mean that's a movie that everybody thought like, oh, it's so great, it's gonna win every awards. You know how many awards Reservoir Dogs won?
A -1?
Zero. It didn't win anything. That just because a film is good does not necessarily mean it's going to get the recognition that it observed. Oh, wait, no. According to this, Pan's Labyrinth won 3 Academy Awards.
Okay.
It won for Best Production Design of 2007, one for Best Cinematography, and one for Best Makeup and Hairstyling.
I'm not entirely sure if I would go with cinematography, but that's because the night filter in a couple of scenes is a bit too overwhelming, and there is a lot of darkness floating through this movie in places where there should be some amount of light.
Right, where the only thing you can see is like the faces.
That was definitely a thing of the time, because Les Mis is fucking polluted with that shit. Ugh.
If you want to set up a dark mood, put everybody in a dark room with like one candle.
That would still probably be more light than most of what Les Mis has got.
It is good.
No, we're never doing Les Mis. I can't sit through that movie again, Mr. Cloud. I can't see anything.
Let's sit through the movies that we can see, because it's a movie. Yeah. It's a motion picture. If you told me 2 different black images were 2 different things, I would say no, they're both black colored. If you show me one picture is black and the other picture is white, yeah, I could tell them apart. But you're telling me that this is the stuff of some like above and beyond type of motion picture design, then maybe the dark photography would get a bit overbearing.
All right. So this has been us attempting to commentate over Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah, it's a good movie. You guys should go watch it too.
It's a good movie to go back to every now and then because Lord knows I'm going to have scenes from this movie bouncing in my head for the rest of the day.
All right, everyone. With that, it's going to be my turn to pick out the movie next. I kind of have an idea of what I want to pick, but I'm not sure yet.
That's all right. Well, you all keep on picking the movies that you like. When you want to see some solid Rocker Rabbit suggestions and spend some time with the crew over commentary tracks, you can stop on by on our next movie commentary, everybody.
Be safe, everybody.